name is Shawna. Today I'm going to talk about how to answer true-false questions in a reading test. Some students like true-false questions in a test because they have a 50-50 chance of being correct without fully understanding the question. The truth is that true-false questions can be tricky to understand. By acting like a detective and examining the language used in the questions, you'll be more successful at answering these questions. I'm going to show you 8 strategies you can use to be a good detective when you're answering true-false questions in a reading test. Think of these as your tools. They're going to help you. I'm going to go through them one by one. Before you begin reading, you should read your questions, underline keywords, stats, and dates. Strategy 1. Think of each question as though it were true, and look out for anything that's false. Also, a question may seem to be true because it contains facts and statements that are true, but this is designed to trick you. Even if one part of a sentence is false, then the entire sentence is false. Strategy 2. Put on your detective cap and look out for qualifiers and absolute qualifiers, as these can provide clues to the correct answers. More modest qualifiers, such as sometimes, often, generally, are more likely to equal a true statement, while stricter qualifiers, such as always, rarely, or never, often mean a false statement. Strategy 3. Don't be confused by negatives. Negatives, such as no, not, cannot, can be confusing within the context of a true-false sentence or statement. If a true-false sentence has a negative, try taking out the negative word and then read the statement again. Without the negative, determine whether the sentence is true or false. If the sentence without the negative is true, then the correct answer would be false. Strategy 4. Look out for double negatives. A double negative is when a statement has 2 negative words, but it's actually a positive statement. For example, it is unlikely that she will not come to the party is the same as it is likely that she will come to the party. Double negatives can be difficult for English language learners. To find negative words, remember they include words like not and cannot, along with words beginning with prefixes that I have listed here. Strategy 5. Look out for long statements. The longer the statement, the higher the chances that one part will be false. Remember, it only takes one part of the statement being false for the entire statement to be false. Strategy 6. Punctuation is your friend when examining long statements. When it comes to long statements, they often contain groups of words and phrases, separated or organized by punctuation. Read each word set and phrase individually and carefully. If one word set or phrase in the statement is false, then the entire statement is false. Strategy 7. Questions that state a reason tend to be false. Words like because, reason, and since often indicate a reason statement. Finally, strategy 8. Use your current knowledge and make an educated guess. If you've been a good detective and you've tried some of the strategies to answer the questions, but you're still unsure, it's all right to guess, provided it does not negatively impact your score. You have a 50-50 chance of being right. However, a clue is that often true-false tests contain more true answers than false. So, if you're completely unsure, you might want to guess true. Are you ready to use your 8 strategies? Let's look at a short passage about cherry blossom season in Japan and answer some true-false questions. Cherry blossoms in Kyoto, Japan have bloomed at their earliest date in 600 years. Researchers from Osaka University say blossoms in the city of Kyoto peaked on March 26. Data on cherry blossoms blooming in Kyoto go back 1,200 years. As far back as the year 812, officials at Japan's imperial court in Kyoto wrote details on the blooms in documents and diaries. Japan experienced much warmer weather in the first few months of this year. Meteorologists say this is because of climate change. All right, now let's look at some true-false questions together. Cherry blossoms in Tokyo, Japan, bloomed at their earliest in 500 years. We know that this is not a true statement if we look at statement 1, because not all parts of the statement are true. Question 2. Analysts say the blossoms finished on March 26. This is almost completely true except for one word. In the text, the word peaked is used, but in the question, the word finished is used, which makes this a false question. Let's take a look at question 3. People at Japan's imperial court rarely recorded details on cherry blossom season. If we look at strategy 2, we've noticed that we've used an absolute qualifier, rarely, which would indicate this is false. Question 4. Data on cherry blossoms in Kyoto, Japan has been recorded by officials since the year 1200. So this is a long statement, which is strategy number 5. And in this case, it was a true statement because all parts of the question are true. Finally, question 5. It is unlikely this is not a result of global warming. This is strategy 4, double negatives. We have the word unlikely, we have the word not. So this is like saying that it is likely this is a result of global warming, which would make it a true statement. Remember to read your questions first and underline key information. Manage your time so you can answer as many questions as you can. If you're running out of time, then make educated guesses on your remaining questions. Be a good detective. Are you ready to practice your 8 strategies? I'm sure you'll be great detectives and do really well. Good luck.